When you have the right setup, when I turn and I coil around my spine angle, that's what loads all the pressure into that trail leg. Yes, the upper body puts the pressure into the lower body, none that your lower body's actively trying to create. No, we're just gonna go around. Look, you just got like 30 more degrees right there. My right pocket is going to turn down that line with my left shoulder going down the yellow line.
Okay.
See that? Now watch, without my head even moving, I'm turning and my shoulder's pointing towards this line right here. Fixed points. We're trying to create fixed points to more cleanly turn around. When you look at him, you have a braced trail leg and a more posted lead leg. Okay, so the opposite of yours, right? Now, what you have to understand is your spine angle, okay, is perpendicular to your pelvis. Now, when I bump my hips forward and leave this still, it creates an angle in my spine. That angle allows me to turn behind the golf ball without swaying off the ball.
Okay.
The most important thing, and I'll get deeper into this, is you're not trying to create turning behind the ball and a weight transfer with your lower body. You're trying to create that with simply just rotation around the fixed points.
Upper body
that you create.
motion.
Yes, the upper body puts the pressure into the lower body, none that your lower body's actively trying to create. There will be a little bit of lateral movement, especially with like a driver, but none that you're, once again, actively trying to create if you have the right setup and get to the right positions at the top with the pressure points in the right spot in your feet. Okay, so a lot of this is preset.
Right.
Look at where his right knee is according to his foot, on the inside of it.
Yeah.
So the pressure's already on the inside of this foot, more of the flat of this foot, kind of like there's door stops underneath the outsides of his feet, okay?
Right.
Okay, so with that being said, we have this braced trail leg, we have this posted lead leg, we have the spine angle that's then created because of the hips being bumped forward. All right, when you watch Mark, he's gonna turn right around those fixed points that he creates right to the top of the swing. But when you look at him there, a couple things stand out. The chest is right over the inside of the back foot. That's where all the pressure gets loaded because of just simply rotating around those fixed points. Something I want you to see and our viewers to see as well. See the angle between the upper body and that trail leg there? A lot of people decrease that angle because they drop that way, right? So a big thing for us today is not only are we gonna create this hip bump, we're gonna feel like there's a wall right here that we just turn inside and we don't let this hip bump up against that wall, okay? When that lead hip is where it's at, he has a very short distance now to move laterally to get posted up to where his femur is gonna be right on top of his lead leg. Watch, it's gonna be half a hip width just from rotation, and look at his upper body turn right on top of his lower body. Any flaw in the downswing typically comes from what's happening in the setup and the top being incorrect. So if we get those two things right, chances are everything else falls into place. Ready? Sternum still, hips square, shift those hips forward. Now, when I do that, for a lot of people, it looks like I'm going at a diagonal back this way. The reason being for that is I'm trying to make sure when I shift my hips forward that I'm not opening my hips up.
Okay.
So that right one stays in line with my left one as I go forward. I'm trying to feel my left femur move more on top of my lead leg, okay? Now, that's taking my left pocket and moving it closer to the outside of my foot. If I'm sitting back like this, you can see how, even if I didn't drop that hip, I'm still gonna have to make a big shift over to get posted up.
Right, I see it.
And the bummer about that is this. That's what leaves the upper body behind, okay? So, what I like to do, hips square, sternum still. I love to put the club across my chest and have the grip pointed out. We're gonna be doing this a ton. Now watch, without my head even moving, I'm turning and my shoulder's pointing towards this line right here. That's loading all that pressure into the instep, not because I move my lower body, but simply because the upper body turned on top of the lower body. Now, here's something really important I want to point out that people do wrong when they do this drill. Hogan's book illustrated this incorrectly. They should never have drawn a line from the golf ball up to the shoulders. You're not turning your shoulders down to the ball. You're not turning your shoulder down to your right foot. You're not pointing it down to that line. If this line were going in, all the way to you guys, I'm just pointing it wherever would be perpendicular to my spine. I'm gonna draw a line here and draw a line here for their spine angle. Watch Adam. Look at his shoulder plane. perpendicular with spine angle. Look where it is. Look how far above the ball that is. It's a mile.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, so those trying to point them down, all you're doing is just crunching your back like this, and then forcing yourself to come right out of it. So it's understood that when I do this, the shoulder's just pointed towards the instep if that was a line going off into the distance. It's a point of reference, but it's not actually pointing down towards, okay? Does that make sense?
It does.
When you're looking at how to properly coil the upper body and load the lower body, and I'm going to define that. The coil is just turning that upper body around. You can see everything coil up here. The load is, we've heard tigers say, you know, activate the glutes and whatnot. Well, when you have the right setup, when I turn and I coil around my spine angle, that's what loads all the pressure into that trail leg, into the inside of my leg. I feel my glutes light up, but I feel a lot of pressure into the inside of my foot. Once again, that's because when I set up, I'm creating this brace. My right knee is not going to move to the outside of my foot. So a wonderful thought for you, Mickey, is going to be this. When you turn, you want to see your right knee stay over the inside of that yellow line with your shoulder pointed at that yellow line. Does that make sense?
It does.
That's going to basically say that you've kept your hips posted up and you've coiled your upper body. Listen, the opposite of what you're doing, and a lot of our viewers are in the same boat you are, here's the opposite of this. Ready? Here's the opposite. Big exaggeration here. The hips going that way, the chest going that way. I like to illustrate that like this. I put two lines here like this. My right pocket is going to turn down that line with my left shoulder going down the yellow line.
Okay.
See that?
Yep.
I had a chance at Pebble Beach one time in the U.S. Amateur. I was there, and Paul Azinger happened to be there. Started talking about golf and the golf swing, and he goes, you know, people make such a deal about rotation. And all it is, and I love this, after you get into the right setup, it's just your right cheek turning into your left, and your left one turning back into your right. That's just, you know, not this one going that way, this one going that way, not having to bump them and work on that move. It's ridiculous. It's just turn from the right setup. Okay, so this visual for you here, I want to get you in here immediately. Feel that bump.
Right.
Yes, the right knee is going to stay in here. The shoulder's going to get over it. But the feeling might simply be pocket back towards the target, shoulder away from it.
Right.
Boom. And look at my head. It's never moving because I'm turning around the fixed points that I created in my setup. I want right pocket going down the steel shaft. I want left shoulder going down the yellow one. Then the person kind of goes, wait, oh, it's just it's just a twist. I'm just twisting around this point right here. Whatever I do to keep this still, watch.
Okay.
Hop in there and try that. So right foot right in between them. So yeah, stick that right foot right in there. Left over here, yeah.
I'm sorry, right foot.
Right there, buddy, yep.
All
and I'll take your club from you here.
Thank you.
Put the hands across your chest. Now, keeping these square,
Right.
bump the hips forward.
Like that.
There you go, there you go. Now ready? Work on getting, if I was grabbing your belt loop right here, okay?
Right.
Work on getting your right pocket going down this line. Look at that. How about that, Kev? Looking good? Yeah. And look at this. See, you guys, one thing I didn't even point out, which we know, this right knee of yours wanted to just go like this, right? Way behind the ball there.
Right.
If the right hip and right cheek turns into your left and you have that post created, that'll control that knee from collapsing, okay?
It takes care of so many things.
Takes care of so many things. Like, let me see what you got, buddy. Bump the hip. Oh, I love that. For somebody who struggles with the lead leg, now this isn't necessarily the best drill for turning behind the ball with the upper body, but as far as identifying what to do with the lead leg,
Right.
just this one right here. You know, there's the post, right? Watch this. I can't lose my anchor point. So that gives me an idea of how to hold that and then rotate around it. You can see that, right?
Oh,
so the cool thing about it is, you know, when you're in here like this, watch that lead leg, watch that lead hip. You can see, like, it's only rotate.
Right.
It's here and then right back around it. Great for identifying what the lower body should feel like at the top of the swing.
Okay.
I had him do that all the time. It was great for his back too, because he was able to really feel like it could lengthen out here, and rather than you know?
Uh-huh.
Then what we do is we'd go from this drill here to creating the same feeling with 2 feet on the ground. Right. Same pressure on the lead leg. And what a lot of people don't understand is people who've gone this way, who hear, oh, get 80% of the weight on your back foot. Mm-hmm. If you had to ask me at the top of the swing with this 8-iron how much weight I feel, I still feel a tremendous amount on my front foot. Even though my pressure is in here predominantly, mm-hmm. I'm still holding this anchor point, and it feels like it's counter, you know, like almost stretching my body in a way where I feel pressure right. here, but I feel it in here also, and it can pull me right back around that left side, where a lot of people mistaken that weight transfer with just trying to get all the weight stacked on this right side.
Yeah.
It's like throwing a punch like this, you know, you're getting there.
Right.
Rather than, you know, mm-hmm. and that's everything's going to be faster and more consistent rotationally than it ever will be laterally, okay? Yeah. And, you know, I want you to watch how my shoulders work through the swing. I'm able to turn behind it, and I'm able to rotate and cover it. So from the top, watch, shoulder can fire towards the target. Look where I finished there. Yep. I mean, I've never felt anything in my back in my life. It's because I'm lucky that I was trained the right way and not sitting there going like this my whole life to where my back is going to go crunch, crunch, right?
Right.
We're going up to the mirror. We're going to own this for just a couple minutes. We're going to come back down here, and then we're going to nail the swing plane and the hand path in your swing, what the hands and the club do.
Okay.
And then we're set. We're just moving, okay? This is where being short has its benefits. You guys can get right over my shoulder, look right over.
Gotcha.
All right, no jokes, Kev. All right, here we go. So here's the thing. See the lines right here? You got the lines already drawn, okay? This is big. You got the inside of my right foot. You got the inside of my left foot. You know what's cool about that? It identifies, boom, boom, what I should be feeling in the swing. Watch my head.
Didn't move.
At all, right?
Nope.
And you know what's cool? Chest over back foot, chest over front foot. From rotation around the fixed points I create in my setup. So when you're in here, this is a great way to see yourself keep your sternum still, to get your hips square, to shift forward, mm-hmm. identify the post, identify the brace. There's my spine angle. There's the line right there that you guys can all draw at home with a couple alignment rods or golf clubs.
Okay.
Boom. There it is right there, okay? Now, notice how there's the angle here?
I do.
There's the knee right over that inside of the foot. Whatever you got to look at to give yourself the cue that you did it right, you know? So I want you to step outsides or insides of feet on these lines right here. Go ahead and peek right in there.
And like this with the
Just
club?
like that. You got it.
So just like
Boom.
that.
Leave this still. Bump that hip forward. Okay, there you go. Now just down to your posture. Okay, exaggerate that angle a little bit more. There you go. There you go. Now ready?
Yep.
You're not going to bump into this right here. You're turning away from it, but your shoulder's turning over it.
Okay, I'm ready.
Bump the hip higher. Remember, pocket's going back down this line here. Shoulders going away from you. Exaggerate it.
All right.
Okay, here we go. Ready. Shoulders more. Ready for this?
Yeah. Right.
Bump the hip way forward. There it is. More around. There it is.
Okay.
See what I tell you? The mistake that everybody does. They get in there and they go like this. Ready?
Down. Yeah, down. Yep.
And then it just crunches that upper back and lower back. Yeah.
Yeah, and it made me able to turn now.
See how much easier the turn was?
Oh, absolutely.
Every time I do this with someone, Kev, come over here and watch this real quick. Here's the mistake people make. Everybody does this, guys. I see it all the time. They go like this.
My first was like that.
And then it just crunches right here. Right. Now watch the second one. I'm like, hey, no, we're just going to go around. Look, you just got like 30 more degrees right there. Yep. Huge turn.
So, back. Around.
Love that, buddy. So much better. Kev, go behind him. Check out that reflection in the mirror. Exaggerate the hip bump.
That feels awkward.
You know what's funny? We had a lot of guys out here lately working on the hip bump. It's like they don't just need one bump. They need two. Okay, so it's like do it once, do it twice, you know?
Yeah. You talk, give me two. All right.
Run. Ready? Right around. Love it. I mean, there it is. There it is.
All right.
So good.
And okay. I was trying to work on that. I just didn't know if I was like doing it right, like because I've watched your videos and such, and it was like,
Mickey, I'll tell you one thing. I mean, like, listen, I know not everybody can get out here, especially coming from Delaware.
Right.
We've been blessed, Kev. We've had some people come out from all over the world. It's pretty amazing, actually. I love it. But I will tell you this: no matter how clean I teach this, no matter how well I teach this, no matter how many times I show the hip bump, until you're here in person and I literally grab you and put you in the spot or we confirm it each other, it's hard to get it perfect.
Right.
And so, you know, I sympathize with the viewers out there. If they're like a little in between, like, man, Porzak's helped me a lot, but I'm just missing a couple things. It's not your fault. Like, we're trying to do it, you know, we're trying to make everything catered to you, first of all, and hopefully give them a blueprint as well. But, you know, the thing about it is what one person has to feel in order to get the same thing to happen is so different. So, you know, like, hey, you might just dig the thought of right knee on the inside of the foot, shoulder over the knee. Boom. That to me makes sense. I like that one. You know, it might be as simple as post the hip up and don't let the pocket bump the wall. Turn it away from the wall. It might be as simple as, hey, once you're posted up, just turn your left shoulder back to your right foot. I mean, you know, who knows what that is?
And while I was working on it, it felt like, man, it just feels like so exaggerated. Like, is this even right?
It's even right.
Like,
and here's the thing.
Is this like, I'm like, wow, that's a lot.
It's a lot, right? Yeah.
And then, but
you know,
you confirmed it. That
bumped the hip, helped him create those angles in the setup, and then wanted to keep that hip up. So watch, hip drops, spine falls forward. And then we get the teeter-totter or Ferris wheel action with the shoulders rather than, watch, the merry-go-round around the spine, right?
At Porzak Golf, we take a lot of pride in having developed some of the best and most consistent golf swings on the planet. We do this through simplicity. Our Full Swing Masterclass will take you on a step-by-step, easy-to-understand process on how to get your golf swing better than ever. Join the many before you who've utilized our Full Swing Masterclass to take their games to the next level and beyond.